Do we have any citizens that wish to speak to us tonight?
You didn't, okay, now we have to start over again. You just went on.
Just repeat the beginning, okay?
This is the policy committee meeting. All members are present. The meeting has been properly posted. And do we have any citizens here that wish to speak? If none, we'll get right to the agenda, which is approval of the minutes from the April meeting, which is the last meeting that we had. And I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 15th.
Madam Chairman, there's just
Yes.
one correction, very small correction, but it's on page 2, under number 3,
Uh-huh.
and it's in sentence, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, sentence 4. The sentence, let me read the sentence. Todd Gray introduced these policies for discussion based on the request by Board Member Karen Reinacek regarding guidelines for board members' compensation, so there would be any
Oh,
last-minute amendments, and I think
Would
it should
not,
be.
right, correct.
Would not be.
Yep,
Thank you.
Okay,
correct.
we will so note that. Addition of the word not. Are there any other corrections? Yes.
Thank you. For number 2, revisions to policy 5141 3G, it's the 8th line or 3rd line from the bottom. It says as well as the American Academy of Pediatrics, and is recommended that parents are contacted immediately, but that students are required to be sent home, or is it are not required? I'm just curious about that.
Not.
Are not.
Yeah.
Apparently I did not like that word as I was typing these up, so I apologize for
We will
that.
insert not
Yes.
also on that page.
Thank you.
Karen. Any other additions or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to,
Okay, Madam Chairman, I'll move to accept the minutes from the April board meeting as corrected.
thank you.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next, we have revisions to policy 4100, recruitment, selection, discrimination, and harassment.
And that's a simple one-line change to, if you look on lines 18, 19, and 4100, it's just to remove that sentence.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Yeah. Any questions, additions, discussion? Okay.
I would make a motion to accept the revisions to policy 4100, recruitment, selection, discrimination, and harassment.
Thank you.
Second?
Right. All those in favor say aye.
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 It's unanimous. Thank you. And now we have revisions to policy 5127, graduation.
Okay. CNI made some changes to our coursework, and when that happens, the policy has to follow. So CNI approved these new courses and the new format for these courses. So we're just updating the policy for, to follow what was approved at CNI.
Okay?
Question.
Yes. Ms. Brunette.
Todd, where it says, for instance, letter D, the last sentence, the high school science course taken while in middle school will count towards the total of 25 credits required for graduation, but the course will not be included in the high school GPA.
Correct.
Okay, so do you still, so why would I take any more courses in high school if it's not, my middle school
Well,
work is?
it kind of gets you, to the end of your high school requirements quicker, but.
Yes, it does.
Because it's not a high school course.
Yes.
I mean, this is, it gives you
Yes.
credit. Because it's not a high school course, you can't include it in the
Okay,
GPA.
so then I really wouldn't have to take any more courses in high school because most of my requirements would be completed in middle school. If I take 2 courses and there's 3 required for graduation, I wouldn't have to take 3 in high
9/11
school.
Yeah, I don't
Line
think-
11 addresses that.
Yeah, I don't think you can do, I mean, you'd still have to,
I still have to take 3 more in high school?
you can't, I don't think you'd be able to take chemistry or physics in middle school. It's not offered.
Okay.
Lines 10 and 11 address that.
Lines 10 and 11, on which page? On the first page or the
Page
second?
2, under letter D.
Page 2, lines
Yep.
10 and 11.
It says, yeah, students taking high school science course while in middle school must take at least 2 additional science credits in
2.
grades 9 through 12. And I
Okay.
don't believe the chemistry or the physics is available,
offered.
so
So,
yeah.
okay, but they don't have to take 3 then?
they would have to take a maximum of 3, 2 being in high school. So
Right,
if you took
right.
2 in middle school
They have to
somehow,
take
which
2
I
more.
don't know if you can right now, you'd still have to take 2 in high school.
Okay, 2. That's, I just wanted to make sure of that. Okay.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Madam Chairman, I approve to accept the revisions to policy 5127, graduation as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on graduation? Not all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Now we have revisions to policy 5141, sub 7, school wellness.
Okay, and these are being upgraded for federal nutritional guidelines, as long as we are part of the national school lunch program, breakfast program, we have to follow these guidelines, we have to put these into our policies. So the first change occurs on page, well, I guess it's the
Page 2.
page 2 of 5141.7, lines 11 through 14. And this is just citing that particular law.
Okay.
And we do have the guidelines posted on the wellness site.
And they are attached as well.
Any questions?
And you
for
can see
approval?
those, yeah, if you want to see those are like the 4th page in, it just, that isn't part of the policy, this is just the, what is posted. And the reason we did not want to put this in policy, but instead refer to the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act of 2010, is so when that changes, all we have to do is refer to that, and we don't have to go through and completely change the policy. And these do change every other year or so.
Todd, on page 4, lines number 9 through 26, I wonder how consistently the reporting that's mentioned here is done. I don't remember, but please refresh my memory if I'm in error.
This is the last page.
Yes, sir. Talks about schools reporting to faculty, staff, about the wellness activities.
Oh, we have an annual, in fact, we just had a full comprehensive wellness report at the last F&F committee meeting.
Okay, so it is done. Okay, then I'd just like to call your attention, this is a kind of a ha-ha or gotcha or whatever you say. Page 2, eating environment number B, number 3. Just, we were talking about having this included in policy, well, there it is.
Before lunch, okay.
Okay, and then on page 3, under Roman numeral number 4, lines 20 to 23, we talked about that also. And it was mentioned that we didn't want to put it in policy, but it's already there.
It is happening too.
Oh, I know, I had
Bob Antline is-
I had a
is
meeting
coming
with CNI today, we had a nice
Yeah.
meeting today, and I know that it's being addressed,
Okay,
and
yeah.
a new report came out, et cetera. But most of all, I thought the last one was of great interest. You know, it's a thing that I think sometimes
You mean the-
teachers,
the-
the denial of
The
recess.
punishment thing?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I agree. And I don't,
that should not be
I think that's
done.
being, if it is used, it's not very.
No, it's not,
so,
it's not good. I mean,
Yeah,
I never did that,
Right.
but that's
yeah.
wrong.
Those
There's
are the
other
ones who
ways.
probably need to get out and run more than. the
That's
other ones
right,
that-
that's right. I mean, that's something, there's other ways to provide consequences for misbehavior,
Right,
but not
right.
withdrawal of recess and certainly not lunch. But I just thought I thought this was very interesting since, you know, we had a pretty good discussion about this at CNI, and here it is in policy, so,
Well, good, now we're done with it. We don't have to add it.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are gonna discuss it briefly
Okay, yeah,
at CNI, just to follow up, because, you know, we brought it up and said we would bring it back next month, so it'll be on the agenda again, but we had a very, very fruitful meeting this afternoon.
And I think they're looking at, you know, the breaks, the recess, how FIAD fits into that. and
I thought it was
hopefully
excellent. They
We'll
do
get a daily,
brain breaks,
yeah,
wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased to see that, number one, it is a policy, and number two, the new report that came out.
well, that's why I was, when we talked recently, I was very sure that Mr. Antline will come up with a really good
Well,
solution.
he certainly did. He
Yeah.
certainly did. So I would appreciate it.
I will just
Thank you.
add that we did have an excellent update on wellness, and that will continue, and I think broaden, so, at FNF.
I just was wondering if it was also done at the site levels.
I don't know how much reporting is done. I mean, again, we have the wellness website, which there contains a lot of information, but
Right, I just wondered, you know, how principals communicated with, you know, parents about what was going on. If it's in newsletters or,
I mean, they will use newsletters, you know, we
Okay.
might send something out to
sure,
either the wellness captains at the schools or the principals, and then they will send it on to parents.
Okay.
And they're usually pretty good, especially the elementary is
yeah,
good about that, so.
thank you.
Any other discussion on school wellness?
No.
No? Okay, somebody want to make a motion then to accept the policy?
I would make a motion to accept revisions to policy 5141.7, school wellness policy.
Second,
Okay, any other discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
aye.
That is unanimous.
Thank you.
And then we,
The next discussion item is, do we need a policy change? At a recent board meeting, the HR committee was kind of locked. There were only two members, and one had voted yes, one had voted no on a particular item. And HR, of course, is right before the board meeting, so there wasn't a lot of time to address the situation of should it go forward. So the issue is there something we need? Is there a policy that says a resolution can come out of committee, even if it's not recommended by the committee,
that part of
for the whole
Robert's,
board to address?
in Robert's rules, can't you take something and just inform the board that it was either not approved? Becomes-
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, and our process now is whatever comes out of committee, it comes as a recommendation to approve or recommendation to not approve.
True.
And this one was neither because it was a tie vote. So that was the issue, you know, what do we do when there's a tie vote, when there's not a recommendation to approve or not approve? Usually if it's not approved, it comes back to
we have a meeting
administration
that's
for.
properly
yeah.
scheduled, because I don't think those are, it really gives the public
Yeah,
24 hours notice of what's going on those meetings, frankly.
right. So the thought is there something we want to put in policy when there is either when a recommendation can't be made because it's a tie vote? And can agenda item for action come forward even if the committee doesn't approve it? Now, like I said, in most cases, it will just go back to administration to rework. But some cases, because of timing or other issues, that doesn't happen. So the question here is, do you want me or others to start exploring different options when there is I guess a no, or a flat vote, meaning not yes, not
In
no,
committee.
or whether there's a negative vote to approve
No,
the item?
no, I think I want it to come forward to the full board.
That's frankly my opinion
Okay.
too.
I'm just wondering if we may just want to add a sentence or two in policy somewhere to say that even if there's this type, because there was a bigger discussion on whether or not it should come forward than there was on the item itself, so.
Correct, there was.
Now, I need to just ask you, are you referring to the discussion about board compensation that?
No.
No?
No,
It was a
an
personnel
HR.
item.
It was the HR item,
Yeah,
okay.
and one of the members was missing, so there was one yes, one no, and so there's no recommendation then. There's not a recommendation not to approve or to approve. And some of those, like those types of things, do have a timeliness factor on there. So most of the time, if it's I want to say a flat vote or a no vote, we have time to bring it back, rework something. Sometimes we don't, but my question is, can we or should we put something in policy that permits something to continue on to the board, given those two situations? Because there isn't anything in there now, and that
No, I
was
know there isn't.
confusion.
I know
Can
there
we
isn't.
even do this? So,
Has that happened before?
yeah, I
Probably,
mean, I don't
yeah.
remember when, but I mean, from
It's
time to
happened
time, it
before.
With
does.
3-member committees, it's got to have
Yeah,
happened before.
yeah. No, I mean, there have been times when a negative recommendation has ultimately gone to the board.
Right.
I mean, it's been a while now, but again, that same question, can we even act on this if the committee doesn't approve it? So that would be, I'd like to research, maybe under Roberts and see what you can do in that particular case, and then let's have an answer so that if that comes
Well,
up
it's,
again.
I think
yeah,
discussion on it, so if
yeah.
you would want to do something under the
Right.
Robertson.
Yeah, it shouldn't
Check it
die,
out.
it shouldn't die in committee. I think the whole board should.
It didn't die.
No, I know.
No, but there was a considerable discussion.
Yes, I know
But
that.
to-
Legality of voting, and so I think that's what I'm just trying to clear up, is that,
Yeah.
whether it should or shouldn't is not an issue, it's can we do it, so,
How can we do it?
right.
Well, it noted in the minutes, it said, there was a suggestion for a policy regarding raises the board gives itself, and the policy would not allow a change at the full board meeting regarding board compensation once it comes out of committee. It would need to go back to the committee for approval.
That-
What are we gonna do about that
was
one?
that's another,
That's,
that was one that Karen had proposed, and I didn't
Yes.
think she was gonna be here tonight, so I
Huh.
did not put that on the agenda.
Oh,
But
okay.
then we will take that up in the future, that particular policy.
Okay.
It never came to
No, it-
conclusion. We did some work
no.
on it, and I didn't want to present it without, Karen kind of sponsored
Okay.
it. I didn't want to present it without Karen being here, and I didn't, I thought
I
you weren't
did-
going to be here, so,
And I didn't know I had,
okay.
That's okay, but I'm assuming.
We have, I mean, there's no urgency to that particular
No.
policy, because
no,
that won't come up again
It's
for
probably,
years and years, but,
yeah.
we should figure out which way we're gonna go.
Well, since it was
So,
suggested,
yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
discuss it, but
Right.
I don't know
on
that
the
it's,
next one?
Yeah, if,
I don't know that
you have to
it's-
guarantee you'll be here,
now we have 2 discussion items.
We
even
am.
if it's on Saturday.
When do we have policies on Wednesdays?
Well,
We have it whenever we can.
yeah,
There's no set date.
yeah. Lots of times it's Tuesdays, but
Yeah.
it just, because of other conflicts, we had to do it Wednesday, so.
But I would assume that both of those probably won't go too far, but that's just a personal opinion.
So is there, do you have anything, discussion on the full board meeting, discussion on if something is in it?
Oh, I was just gonna say if it's happened before, how we worked through it, or if other districts have had this happen, how did they work through it? I was just gonna ask that.
Well, a lot of districts don't work the way we do. I mean,
Yeah.
we relied heavily on our committees. Many districts will have just a committee as an advisory. We actually use them as a stepping stone to get something onto the agenda. So our committees carry a little more weight than maybe other districts do. But I think the issue is, you know, we moved forward with some of those, but there were some big questions whether it was even legal and you know, long
Right.
discussions on something that if we had a simple sentence or two in the policy would limit the discussion, would give the board some direction.
So let's say something came on for F and F and they voted no. Does that ever come to the full board?
It did once. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, we had an issue, and it was because of timing that I think 3 of the 5 board members did not approve it, but they felt that it still should go to the board due to whatever and I can't recall the issue. And at the full board, it was approved. So, and the 3 members that voted no still thought it should go forward. So we didn't bring it back for rework.
So that night, did you take a vote on whether, like, let's say it was no, but then did you also take a vote on if it was going to go to the full board, or did
No, it
that
was
chair
just
decide?
the board, the members of the committee said, you know, we should still take this through the board.
Because maybe that could be part of the policy, is that if it's a yes/no vote, but then also then vote if it should go to the full board. And
Right.
if it didn't,
Yeah.
those board members are gonna have to answer
But,
why.
okay,
Could we not all
and when
have?
there's a odd number of members, that's fine, but if we have a deadlock where 1 yes, 1 no, and then vote to go to the full
Board's
board
not
and we
gonna
get a yes and a no, then it hangs in limbo. So what I'm recommending is just some simple language that says, you know,
In a tie
if,
vote?
if we have time to bring it back through committee, we'll do that. If we don't, if it's an urgent issue, you know, can it go directly to the board?
And this is in case of a tie?
Case of a tie or no vote.
Or a no vote.
Oh,
I mean, let's say 2 out of the 3 members of HR voted no, and, you know, we needed some more discussion, and, you know, it was an important teaching position we needed to fill. You know, we might agree to bring that to the full board for further discussion, and, I mean, no guarantee of what the outcome would be, but
So it's not in case of a tie or a no vote, it can, based on the assistant superintendent, it's their decision then to take it.
no,
is what
it would
you're
be
saying.
the committee chair. I mean, it's always the committee chair, but typically, the committee chair, if they feel there's an urgency to something, or if they feel that the whole board should weigh in, even though the committee voted no, then it can go to the full board.
So it's gonna be
I
up
think it would still be up to the committee chair,
to the chair, okay.
yeah. And that's essentially what happened a couple months ago. The HR chair thought the board should act on it, so.
Okay. Discussion items, we have administrative guidelines for school health services.
And again, the fact that these are just for review at this point. This gets added to 5141G. Did you want to add something to this one?
No, the ones I have are the same one, and one should be Glucagon.
Yeah.
For diabetic care. I don't know if everybody got the right ones. I have 2.
This right here.
I have food management and food management, and it should be food management and.
Okay, I have glucagon procedure and delegation
Oh, okay.
record. So this is the chart this is the one that we're,
Yeah,
okay.
and then there's one for
Yeah.
anaphylaxis.
Joanne is
Okay.
our school RN. Would you like
Policy
to,
thing for
would you like to weigh in on this?
Well, I've been working with a grant, a state school nurse grant, here in Wisconsin, and in reviewing policy and trying to streamline some resources for school nurses throughout the state. And this is one of the things that we found our policy and guidelines are lacking, to have clear, concise directions throughout the district. In addition, the Wisconsin statutes on EpiPens, self-carrying, and do you have to be trained or have authorization for epinephrine and for glucagon have changed. also recently in April of 2014, I think they did, so that it kind of pulls all of that together in one package.
Can students can self-administer?
They can, not glucagon
No, not
for
glucagon.
diabetic care, because they're usually unconscious by that
Yeah,
point, but
but-
epinephrine, they can self-carry
And that's for anaphylaxis?
and
Yeah.
self-administer if possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
Okay.
We also have stock EpiPens in the schools that were gifted,
Oh,
a free
really?
program. Mhm.
Wow, that's,
We do. So if somebody has a first-time allergy, we have stock. Or
Great.
if a child's pen expired and the parents
Yeah.
didn't provide one, it's there for that. They found a research study, a nursing research study, found that 20% of first-time anaphylactic reactions happened in schools.
uh-huh.
So based on that study, a lot of people are recommending that schools have stock EpiPens, just like we have AEDs for heart
Right.
attacks.
So there's more than one person in each building that practice continues, right? I mean, it isn't just the principal who could administer or who is trained to
No, we
administer.
do all school.
All school?
All school is
Wonderful.
required to do EpiPen.
Wonderful.
We have I developed online training modules.
Ah, great.
For EpiPen and a lot of other things. They do those every 4 years, and that information's driven from DPI.
That's great.
And then we do the skills check-off, just to do the skills, and everybody stands there and bruises their leg with a trainer,
Yeah.
once a year.
What about the glucagon?
The Glucagon is new.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year we started allowing it.
Okay, so
So-
who's trained?
Who is trained? We asked the building principals,
Yes,
more so in the elementary than in the high school.
yes,
The health room assistants.
yes.
We asked teaching staff to do it, and this year, with the change in the law, the way the law for glucagon is written is, 11829 is, you can do this, and you have this rule, and you have to have this authorization and this, and it says, except for glucagon and EpiPen, you don't have to be trained, you don't have to have authorization. If you know the student's diabetic, if you suspect they are having a severe low blood sugar, you can give that whether you're trained or not.
Okay,
And the
That's
way
good.
I see that is, you're more liable if you don't take the training.
right.
So this year, after bringing a new thing in to train people, it's a little scary. So last year, we stuck to some immediate staff in the office, the health rooms, some teachers, some principals did, depending on how many diabetics they had in the school. But this year, we're really encouraging everybody to at least try the training.
I would agree.
Because you're liable to give that, whether you've had the training or not, and better to have it and do your due diligence and give it your best shot
Sure.
than to refuse the training.
Sure. So, teachers go off on field trips and, the health room volunteer doesn't go along and the principal doesn't always go along and
Right.
kid could get sick, so the teacher, needs to be aware of that and know how to do that. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it isn't very complicated, but it would
It
be.
is. It's always a challenge for us on field trips to make
Well,
sure
right.
that the staff that are trained.
But teachers are aware, I'm sure, of the children in their classrooms right off the bat that who's diabetic in their classrooms.
Right.
I mean, I always knew that, so.
Right, they do. And
Yeah.
I actually started a new class last week, and we're looking at putting it into the Teacher Summer Institute or somewhere.
Good,
With 50 to 60 diabetics in the school district, chances are you're going to have a diabetic
absolutely.
student come your way. So instead of trying to squeeze in this time of year when our teachers are so busy trying to learn their students and
True,
learn
true.
academics, if we could roll that into some type of comprehensive training
Sure.
available with all of our other training,
Sure,
they're going to be a better learner,
sure.
and they're going to have that knowledge when their student comes to them, instead of trying to get it after they find out they have a
Now,
student with it.
Does, does the school nurse go around and talk to the teachers in every building that has diabetics, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily
Okay.
everyone.
Okay. Just so the teachers are
We
aware.
are there to talk to everybody that needs to. I could have a kindergartner, and I'm at that school, first grade, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, by fourth grade, they've all seen me.
Sure.
They're like, okay, hi, yes, we know you're diabetic, you know.
Okay.
So there's situations like that where
Sure.
the conversation doesn't have to be
Yeah.
in-depth and as long.
I just don't want anybody overlooked.
It varies,
Yes.
and we always say I'm available to do in-person training or talking on phone, email, however, whatever their need is,
Okay,
you know.
Good.
As we try and grow, I
Yeah.
think we need to grow our training program
thank you.
to be a little more accessible.
Good.
Okay.
Any other questions? These will come back next month then. for-
Yeah, we'll
For some
work this into
action.
the, right, yeah.
Actually, these are not in the policy.
Thank you.
No, they're not.
Well, they're not in there.
Oh, you're
at all.
No, they
right.
don't
Yes,
need to
yep,
move on
yep.
at all. They're just administrative guidelines. We're just informing you that these are new, in place due to recent law changes and requirements for these types of
Oh, good.
students with those those health needs.
Thank you.
Okay?
I think we'll need to refer them to them at some point if it's not.
True.
It might just be a simple
Okay.
sentence, like we did with the Health
True.
Kids, or the Foods Act.
Oh, yeah, in the policy 5141G.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And then do we have any other issues or policies that need revision from any of?
I'm just wondering for future, is if, you know, we have one, the one on
Compensation?
compensation, are there any issues that we need to bring forward?
Nobody's discussed anything with me,
Okay.
so I don't know. Do you have anything, Ms. Persing?
No.
Okay, then we're adjourned. Thank you very much.